Today is November 28th and it's approximately 11 o'clock in the morning. The sun's been out for a little bit over an hour and we're going to be looking at the solar system and the changes that we made. First, we can look up here and you can see that we took out all the piping that was on the outside of the building and put it to the inside. So basically we replaced about 320 feet of outside piping, and now there's about 20 feet. As you can see from there, there's about maybe 5 feet on the one system sticking out, and on the top of the Mystic here there's about a good 3 feet. So that's approximately all it is. And then the tanks were hooked up too from the inside, so there's just a minimum of outside piping on these. We are now looking at the milk house area. We took out all the pipes, like I said, on the outside, took them all out and put them on the inside, and I'll show you that in a second. That way we don't have any. Here we plugged the holes. You can see where we plugged the holes on where the valves were. Over here, the valves, we haven't cut them off yet, but that's the next project. And then we had one little cold spell, so I tried to insulate it as best I could. And here we are in the milk house. So now we're coming off because there was a pressure loss going to the lavas. We used 1-inch pipe off the free heater going to our storage and then returning back in to meet up with a line that goes to the hot water tank. And so we eliminated the piping that went directly into the hot water tank. I don't know if you can see much there, but that's what we did there. So then we'll continue on, and what we did is our Dean ran the 1-inch lines up above, and then I had a helper and myself make basically a beam across the top, and so they fit really nice up in that area, and they go all the way across. After they come down on the other side of where this door is, let me get in here. I tried to make a cat guard here, and I don't know how good it was. I think there was a cat that climbed up over it this morning, but haven't seen it since. What we do, the two 1-inch lines, one coming in, and then one coming in to tank number 1. That's over. I'll get a little better position here. Tank number 1, and then we put in 4 tanks, and 2 of which we have to use. These front 2 tanks, this one and this one, we have to use because we have the water coming in from the free heater going into these tanks. And then it was set up with a valve system, shut off 2, open 1 on each tank, so either I can use 2 or 3 or 4. But because it's winter time, we're not going to produce as much hot water as in the summertime, so I've gone down to 2 tanks, and I've just been watching it so they don't get too hot. So what we have here, we took the 2 pumps that were outside and hooked them up, and so they're in separate systems. The bottom system goes to the east array and then returns from the east array. So it's coming out of the bottom of the tank number 4, which will be the hottest tank, and then going up into the system. We went right through the roof, so there's very little pipe exposed, if hardly any, till where it goes into the array, and then it returns to the bottom of tank 1, and then you can see that. So you can't feel this, but the pumps are on right now, and you can feel the water movement. The second system, which is on the south, goes up and then returns to the first tank here about mid-level. So it's coming out about mid-level and returning mid-level. And what that does, what we changed on there, because there was a pressure loss on the first system that was designed, we had a pressure loss that when the water went to the lavas and returned, there was so much line and we had a pressure loss. So what we did is we took that out of the line basically and then put in with the Mystic. So the second line is pumping first into the lavas and then into the Mystic and returning here. So what makes this system work is the little controller. So let's just turn it on, and what we see here, it's showing the top collector is 100.1, and you can see the two little flashing lights. One here, that's the east array, and the one over here is the south array, and they're flashing, which means the system is working because it's sunny out. I'll try to hold it steady here. Okay, the second collector, top collector 2, is reading 101.6. Okay, the controller also, that's the bottom sensor on the tank. Must be test bottom. That's the bottom. So it's 93, and what it turns on at a 12-degree differential, and I have set it up for a 4-degree differential to shut off. So it's got to get at least 12 degrees warmer, and then shut off when it comes about 4 degrees. Now, this is the tank top. It's reading 91.6. Tank bottom 93. It's hotter because it appears from what I can see, because it's coming back hotter and it's circulating through. It takes a little time for the hot water to go to the top of the tank. So let's just go through. That's just a different, it tells me, oh, look at that, it's 11 o'clock. And there's the date, 28th of November, 2000, and that's what this system is. Again, I'll show you. Oh, notice it's flashing over here. I'll try to point there, see if I can get that. Over here, see that flashing there? Well, that's because we're taking the top of the hot water tank. That's telling me we're sensing that. Okay, let's go to here. Now, notice it's flashing on the bottom. That's the sensor on the bottom of the tank. Let's just go through here again. You can see the pumps are flashing. Okay, now we go here. It's telling me the collector 2. Well, if you notice, the pump is running, and this sensor here is flashing. So you always know where you're reading from. Now here I've top collector 1. Notice the pump is going on. Now we've noticed it's cooled down a little bit too, and you can see the sensors flashing on the top. Very interesting. This controller has 26 pre-programmed systems in it, and we're using system 19. What's interesting is in the top collector 1, when we set it up, or I set it up, it showed the freeze protection on it, and we have that set at 40. So once it gets below, at 40 degrees, it kicks on till 45. But I've noticed because the tanks are warmer, it heats up 4 or 5 6 degrees warmer than that. It goes up to about 49, 50 degrees. And then it takes, well, when it was 23, 24 degrees out, it takes, an hour, hour and a half to cool down and come back on. Okay, so what we have here, we have the controller, and then it controls, and we set it up for relays. There's a couple relays, and we got to put one more in there to control the. Now the one just clicked off. You heard that? So we'll see which one. It's the south collector has turned off, and because it's 98, and there's at some point it reached a differential of 4 degrees. So you can easily see that. And so it's interesting. And here we have an inverter, and what the inverter's for is if the power goes off in the wintertime, it's ready to pump when it's calling for it, and more importantly in the summertime if power goes off, it will run during that hot weather, which is really important. And so it'll be running constantly during the hot weather. Let's just take another look at the controller. The tank temperature bottom is 95. Now it's the collector on number 2 is 112, and as you can see from over here, it's running from that collector that we're looking at, and it's 104 now. And this one, it hasn't kicked on quite yet, and the time is 12:22. So the southern one is working as you'd expect. Well, now the top collector is 104.8, and that's 100, and it's come down a little. So there's a 12 degrees differential. So we got 2 more degrees before it turns on. And it doesn't look like it's going to turn on here anytime soon, because the sun is now, it's creeping up, so it'll eventually turn on. Now you heard it, it's 107.3, it kicked on, so you know there's a 12 degrees differential. We went past it, that's the top. So there you are. So everything is working, and as you can see, the 2 pumps are flashing over here, so they're both working. Let's take a look at the top collector. It should be cooling down. It's not as efficient this time of year, and it's 12:22, so the sun is now getting a little angle at it, whereas the collector 2, the southern collector array is holding pretty steady. And let's just see, that's cooling down. So it takes a while for the top collector to cool down, but it does seem to be shutting off and starting. And as you can see, it's going down slowly. But the top collector in the array 2 is holding pretty steady because the sun rays are hitting it. Top collector 1 obviously is going to go to a point where it shuts off, cools off, and the differential is at 4. So let's go back, and there it's 95. So at 99, it's going to be, we're going to be hearing a sound here a little bit. There it is. You notice the pump is off, and at 99. So that's it's working properly. The array 2 holding steady. In fact, it increased since the last time I checked it. So that's pretty efficient. And let's just see what the tank temperature is. Now it's 95. So it's been creeping up here, which is good. As you can see, the top collector is getting a little energy, so it's going to be cycling on and off for a while until the sun probably gets in another hour. It probably won't pick up any ultraviolet, and will not shut back on. So, whereas collector 2 is holding pretty steady. So I'll take a look. We have all the pipes. You can see the pipes from this angle. They're going up into the top of the jump up of our barn, and that way you hardly see any pipes in the barn at all. So everything is inside and out of the way. Time is about 12:25. Let's see if I can get a close-up. Not smart enough. But anyway, there we go. As you can see, there's no pipes. Very little exposed on this array. We came up through the roof near where the connection is and then went right back. Well, we came up. No, it goes into the roof there, and then the sensor is at that end. And then at this end, at the south end, we came up, and there's that 3 feet there that I showed you earlier that's sticking out. So let's see if I can get a get a little view. You can see the sun now is not hitting too well, but on the controller it's showing some energy uptake, and so that's a good thing. But you can see the southern array here is getting a direct shot, and that's why it keeps going. You can see that sun reflecting off the tubes there, and like I say, we got very little exposed pipe to the outside. So here's another view of the controller. Now you can see the time is 12:29. So let me just bump up here and go to, that's the top of the tank at 93, and the bottom of the tank, where it's actually the middle of the tank that we're sensing it at. It's about 95.5, 95.6 here. It just changed. So let's take a look at collector 2. It's holding pretty steady at 111.5, and so it's producing energy. So we have, what they say, we got 95.5 degree water going out, and then it's increasing from that point to 111.3 on a day like today. And it's sunny, but it's not real clear. So the top collector is 104.5, so you can see it's off, and there's going to be a differential. It's going to be coming on here, and we're reading, you can see we're reading the sensor on the top of collector 1, and obviously it shows it on there, and so we're going to be coming, it's about 95, it'd be 97 approximately. Yeah, 97.6, it should come on. What did I say? Not 97, it would be 107.6. So, real nice controller. And actually in the 26 different systems, it changes the picture too. So if you only have one array, then only one array shows up. So it pretty much shows the system as it's designed. Now it's 107, so we're getting close to turning on for that east array. It's coming. You can see it's building up. If the sun goes behind a cloud, obviously it won't create enough energy to kick on, but I won't turn it off because it's still increasing. Now there's 5 collectors up there. They say on a hot day, if you have 6, it's too much. It can't, it went off, say, so many seconds there. So let's just turn that back on. So, an energy saving mode there. After so many, probably a minute, it shuts off. So it's coming close. There, kicked on, and both pumps are going. Top collector's holding steady. It takes probably at least 2 minutes to cycle through all the water, because the water in the first array, or the first set of tubes, has got to pass through, and then after that point it probably can't quite keep up. So you can see it's going down. Very interesting to watch. You can there it went off, because the water's coming in at 95, being heated, but there's not enough energy to heat it up enough to keep it going. Whereas in the top collector number 2 is holding pretty steady because of the southern orientation and the time of day. So that's going to be the most efficient array that I have, and it's been pretty good. Now let's just bump back to, yeah, see how that top collector is kicking down? See, it turned off. You can hear that. Those are what we've done is had the controller control a relay, and then the relay controls the pump. That way you're not putting power through the circuit board. And it's got 4 inputs. 3 of them are 1 amp, and then there's one that's a 2 amp input. But it's the safest not to run a lot of current through the circuit board. The solder or the board might go bad. Send a signal to control the relays, have the relays bump all the power, and then that controls the pump. So again, another view of the controller.